Hello, this is John from Military Systems Explained, and today's topic is the BAE Systems Archer. Modern counter-battery fire has changed the rules of artillery. If you stay in one position after firing, radar tracks your shell, calculates your coordinates, and counterfire destroys you in minutes. Adding more steel armor doesn't solve this problem. Only speed does. This is why Sweden built the Archer. It trades heavy tank tracks for a modified civilian truck chassis. The concept is straightforward. Fire and vanish. The system can halt from full driving speed, deploy its outriggers, and fire its first 155mm round in under 30 seconds. It can unleash 3 consecutive strikes and displace to a new position over 500 meters, or about a third of a mile away, in under 2 minutes. By the time the enemy calculates the origin point, the Archer isn't there anymore. The Archer's unique design is a direct response to Scandinavian geography. Sweden needed a system capable of navigating dense pine forests, crossing low-capacity civilian bridges, and operating in deep snow. Historically, the Swedish army relied on towed artillery. However, deploying a towed gun in 1 meter or 39 inches of snow, with temperatures dropping to -30 degrees Celsius or -22 Fahrenheit, severely degrades crew performance and slows down reaction times. The Archer bypasses this bottleneck entirely. It was built around a fully automated philosophy. The crew never has to step outside into the weather or enemy fire. From the moment they stop the truck to the moment they fire the gun, every action is handled by computers and hydraulics, while the operators remain inside an armored, climate-controlled cabin. The original platform beneath the Archer was a modified Volvo A30D 6x6 articulated hauler, engineered specifically for extreme Scandinavian terrain. This articulated design gave the 34 metric ton, or 75,000-pound machine, a top speed of 70 kilometers per hour, or 43 miles per hour. But modern military logistics demand standardization. To meet Allied fleet requirements, the Archer evolved into a fully modular system, now frequently mounted on heavy 8x8 tactical trucks like the Rheinmetall MAN HX2. This 8x8 configuration pushes the top speed to 90 kilometers per hour, or 56 miles per hour, while increasing the overall combat weight to 38 metric tons, or roughly 84,000 pounds. By switching to a standard military frame, Allied forces can integrate the automated gun module directly onto the transport chassis they already operate, completely bypassing the need for specialized civilian construction parts. The core of the system is the 155mm L-52 howitzer. Mounted directly behind the gun is a self-contained, fully automated drum magazine, holding exactly 21 projectiles and 126 modular propellant charges. Manual loading operations inevitably suffer from human fatigue, especially with shells weighing over 40 kilograms, or 88 pounds. The Archer's mechanical arm does not. Once the fire mission begins, the onboard ballistic computer takes complete control of the loading cycle. The autoloader can empty the entire magazine of 21 rounds in just 2.5 minutes. That equals 1 heavy artillery shell leaving the barrel every 7.5 seconds. Sustained, with absolute mechanical precision. The traditional artillery crew operates in the dirt, exposed to shrapnel and overpressure. The Archer fundamentally changes this paradigm. It requires a standard crew of exactly 3 personnel, a commander, a driver, and an operator. However, the system's high level of automation means the entire firing sequence can be executed by a single soldier during combat emergencies. These operators fight from a digitized, climate-controlled cabin rather than an exposed gun shield. The cabin is fortified to STANAG 4569 Level 2 standards. It is engineered to withstand direct fire from small arms, artillery fragmentation, and anti-tank mines packing up to 6 kilograms, or roughly 13 pounds of explosives under any wheel. By delegating the sheer physical labor of moving heavy shells to the autoloader, the crew avoids rapid physical exhaustion. Their cognitive load is reserved entirely for battlefield awareness, drone feeds, and computing firing solutions. The true lethality of the Archer lies in its trajectory computer and MRSI capability. MRSI stands for multiple round simultaneous impact. Instead of firing a standard barrage, The L-52 barrel rapidly changes its elevation angle and propellant charge for each consecutive shot. It fires the first shell in a high arc, and the subsequent shells in progressively flatter trajectories. This allows up to 6 rounds to strike the exact same target coordinates simultaneously. To the enemy radar and infantry, a single Archer delivers the sudden, destructive payload of an entire traditional artillery battery with 0 warning time. Effective range is strictly dictated by the ammunition's aerodynamics. Standard unguided projectiles reach out to 30 kilometers, or 18.6 miles, utilizing base bleed shells, which burn a gas generator to reduce aerodynamic drag, pushes this envelope to 40 kilometers, or 25 miles. When firing GPS-guided Excalibur rounds equipped with glide fins, the Archer can accurately engage high-value targets beyond 50 kilometers, or 31 miles, with a margin of error measured in single meters. The Archer's greatest tactical advantage creates its most severe logistical bottleneck. Firing 21 rounds in 2.5 minutes means the onboard magazine runs dry almost immediately during sustained fire missions. Once empty, the system cannot simply pick up a shell from the dirt like a traditional towed howitzer. To reload, the Archer must retreat to a secure rendezvous point and link up with a dedicated ammunition resupply vehicle equipped with a specialized lifting crane. The mechanical transfer of 21 projectiles and their modular charges takes approximately 10 minutes. During this 10-minute window, the Archer is completely paralyzed. It is combat ineffective. Furthermore, while the Archer's crew remains in their armored cabin, the logistics crew operating the crane is completely exposed to the elements and enemy counterfire. The machine is entirely dependent on its logistical tail, meaning the destruction of the soft-skinned resupply truck effectively removes the artillery piece from the battlefield, even if the Archer itself remains completely undamaged. This extreme reliance on mechanics and automation introduces a critical structural vulnerability. The Archer is, by definition, a glass cannon. While the operators are protected inside a Level 2 armored cabin, the entire L-52 gun breech, the autoloader drum, and the complex network of hydraulic lines are completely exposed. A single nearby fragmentation burst from enemy artillery, or a loitering munition, does not need to pierce armor to score a mobility or firepower kill. Severing a single hydraulic hose, or shattering an external optical sensor instantly paralyzes the automated loading cycle. If the computerized system fails, the crew faces a catastrophic scenario. Transitioning to a manual loading sequence forces them to abandon the armored cabin and physically manipulate the massive mechanism outside, entirely negating the system's core survival philosophy. In a modern counter-battery environment, this loss of speed and automation is a death sentence. A weapon system's true value is not measured on a testing ground, but in the brutal mud of active combat. In 2023, Sweden deployed Archer systems directly to the Ukrainian front lines. While its extreme mobility successfully evaded enemy counterbattery fire, the environment exposed critical limitations. The notorious Ukrainian black mud, known as Rasputitsa, severely restricted the wheeled platform's off-road capabilities compared to traditional tracked vehicles. Furthermore, the proprietary electronics and exposed hydraulic network proved exceedingly difficult to repair in austere field conditions. Minor battle damage forced units far behind the zero line to seek highly specialized maintenance. Yet, despite these logistical nightmares, its unmatched survivability rate convinced NATO armies. The United Kingdom rapidly procured 14 units, and Switzerland officially shortlisted the 8x8 variant to modernize its forces. The BAE Systems Archer represents a fundamental shift in doctrine. Weighing up to 38 metric tons, or 84,000 pounds, it is not a frontline brawler designed to absorb incoming fire. It is a highly specialized artillery sniper. It strikes with absolute precision, unleashes maximum destruction, and vanishes before the enemy can respond. But what happens when an army actually requires a heavy brawler? A system designed not to run, but to take the hit and sustain relentless fire. In our next episode, we will dissect the South Korean K9 Thunder, a system currently dominating the global artillery market. For continuous, objective analysis of modern combat mechanics, subscribe to Military Systems Explained.